Evil is a state of mind just as goodness or goodwill is. So, today we will try to understand how an individual becomes evil versus how an individual maintains goodwill. So, all of it starts from ego, I, identity. When the chitta observer wants to become a part of what it's observing, it has the first primal desire, the desire to incarnate. So it borrows an entity called ego or I, because to transform from what it is not to what it is observing, it has to have this veil of ignorance that we call ahamkara, ego or identity. Once it adopts the ahamkara, ego or identity, now it can take the form of prana to seed into a biological body or bhoot. And once the prana carrying the chitta and the ego within itself is able to seed a mahabhoot in the form of the complex combination to form a jiva or jivbhoot, it has charged it to become a living biological body called jivbhoot. So this identity will determine how much desire an individual will harbor. The more desires an individual has, the more engaged it is in the activities that it is doing, the more attachment it will generate, which in turn will keep it clinged to the previous desires. And the more there is curiosity and want to find something new, the more identities it will build around itself. And the more things it will want to experience, both good and bad. So, when we say there is someone who is evil, we are referring to the mindset that has learned to take more than it can give. And it will keep taking to the point where it is harming the individuals around it, the society, the family, the community, the country, the planet. Because just like desire, evil following the footprint of desire will have no bounds, no boundaries. So evil happens when karma starts repaying the particular jivbhoot the bills that it has created in its past years, past lives. So when it performs an act where it is causing harm to other jivbhoots, causing harm to the family, society, community, country, then there will be a payback incident, what we call karma strikes back. And that payback incident in the form of some biological deformity, mental deformity, something that inflicts pain and suffering on the individual by the unfolding events, makes the individual have pain. And this individual who was pursuing desire all the time to get mental gratification and senses all the time to get sensual gratification has a setback. Now comes the point of resentment. So, resentment is the precursor to being evil. You cannot have evil mindset unless you have some resentment. You have some belief that you have generated in your mind that you have been wronged. Of course, that wrong has unfolded because you yourself, in your pursuit of desires, have caused harm to the individuals around you. But the mind perceives that it has been done wrong for no right reason. And because the ability to accept is not there, and you keep expecting, keep desiring more and more to fulfill your previous clingings or attachments or create new curiosity or desires, you keep creating more karma in which harm is being inflicted to the individuals, jeev bhutas, whether animals or plants or humans around you. So, in that circumstances, more karma, vikarm, I should say, karma that is having bad consequences, consequences inflicting pain and suffering, will be unfolded onto you, because that's what you are depositing in your sanchit, and that is what will be hurled back at you through the prarabdha agami karma. So, once they are hurled back at you, you have developed this vicious cycle where doing bad things and bad things are happening to you. But when you're doing bad things in the surge of desire and in the surge of attachment, you don't recognize that you are doing harm to individuals around you. And when it is being paid back to you, you become extremely upset that why is this bad thing happening with me? Why me? And then you develop resentment that, oh, I did not deserve this. I had this bad experience. Let me do something more evil or something that is causing more harm to individuals around you. So, in a way, when they are harming individuals around them, they are asking for more vikarm accumulation to cause harm to themselves. And in a similar way, when you are doing good around the world, you are asking in a way to get good back to yourself, but also you are creating that vibe where you are helping out yourself, because you are extricating yourself from this samsara and karma bandhan that keeps bringing you back life after life. So, my friends, evil is when there's lot of tamas, there is lot of karma that has to vikarma that has to be burned through pain and suffering that the individual atman has to endure. And because of that pain and suffering, it has developed this mindset where there is a lot of resentment, no gratitude, all resentment, that wrong things have happened to me, wrong things will continue to happen to me, so let me perpetrate some wrong things myself. And without recognizing that it is wrong or causing pain to other individuals, you'll keep walking that path. And that is why they say, Tanaham dushta kruran sansarishu naradman, chipam jasram subhanash shurishve yonusi, asurim yonuma padda mudhim Germany, mam prape konte yanti dhamam gatim. Tanam dushta, kruran sansarishu. That dusht or the evil soul will be born again and again in the lower yonis. One of the main purposes of life that we have discovered in the past, we have discussed in the past, is that make better bodies. Make better bodies until you stop reincarnating. Because that is our best bet towards attaining moksha, liberation. When you are liberated, then you are following the descendant pathway where you become an avatara and you decide when you want to reincarnate to help out other individuals. Karma bandhan will have no effect on you at that point. But until that point, you are ascending. You are going into higher realms. You are going into better bodies, because these better bodies will help you exercise your ability to perceive, your cardinal ability to observe, because that's what an chitta particle is. It's Satyam Shivam Sundaram, Sat Chit Anand. It is Satya meaning truth. It is Shiv meaning it is not. It is not. It is not there. It is not. Shiva, what is there not? And Sundaram because it's elegant, beautiful. And Sat Chit Anand again is because Sat because it is good or true or Sattva, and it is Chit because it is consciousness, the observation particle, and Anand because it is constantly reverberating in its own peace, frequency, in its own joy of the self, because there are no bounds. So that state has been perturbed the moment you have incarnated because of the desire infecting the fragment of the Paramatman called Atman. So when there is more and more identity, there is more and more activity. The more activity you do, the more clinging attachments you create. Those attachments make sure that the ongoing desires continue to be desires. Although they are less enjoyable, you continue to have compulsive obligations obsessive compulsive disorders, and compulsions. Like there are some things people will have: eat without hunger, or masturbation for that regard. So these are compulsions. You're not necessarily enjoying it to the same level that you did when the first exposure was there, but because you have these clinging attachments, the mind tells you to go back there. And that is how more sin, kilbish, or papa is accumulated, and that will fructify as vikarm and cause more pain and suffering, and hence the cycle continues. So that is the pathway of evil. Two things need to happen in the pathway of evil. There has to be inordinate amount of desire. There has to be an inordinate amount of desire which is acted upon. So you create vikarma, and that is what is creating this pathway in the mind to keep clinging to them in the form of attachments. So inordinate desires acted upon to create attachments, that's one thing. And then the unfolding of these activities as vikarma back onto this individual, Jiv Bhuta, to inflict pain and suffering in the new circumstances, either because they have pain in their body, pain in their mind, anxiety, depression, or events unfolding around them that will be deemed as extremely unlucky otherwise. And hence there will be pain and suffering. And this pain and suffering, when the chitta particle observes, it does not, it has lost the ability to one is to one identify and understand that this is being done, because it has acted in a irrational, exuberant way where it was having no regards for the other jivbhuts around it. So no compassion. Because there is no compassion, there is no kindness, you are being ruthless in pursuit of your desires and your pleasures. And hence, this dopamine kick, you are so addicted to it, you are keep doing new things while you are remaining attached to the previous things. So clinging to the attachments as well as pursuit of new curiosities or desires. And that continues, that makes sure that you keep the wheel spinning for vikarma to form more and more, to cause more damage to you in your future years, future lives. And hence, the resentment that is there. The resentment that comes, and you keep doing it without having any consciousness that you are doing wrong things, whether it be for pursuit of desires, whether it be all the addictions that we have talked about, smoking, alcohol, drugs, gambling, video gaming, and relentless pursuit of food and sex. Those are the main addictions where people will continue for the attainment of object of sexual gratification. They will keep spinning this wheel of addiction and cause more harm to themselves and individuals around them. So that is how the Vikarm wheel will unfold back on them, and they will take it unkindly. They will take it very irrationally, that why this is happening to me? I did not do this to deserve this, forgetting all the damage they have caused to other individuals around them. So this extreme identity is what is causing clinging to the past desires as attachments to continue the previous desires, as well as fanning new desires where you are wanting things which will seem extremely irrational. And that is why hypersexuality and hyperphagia will happen when you have uncontrolled prefrontal cortex. So those are the pathways in which, because there is no compassion for other individuals around you, there is no kindness, there is no ability to rationalize, there is only ability to resent. You keep spinning the wheel of evil, vikarma, and keep sinking deeper into the lower yonis. Tanham dushta kruran sansarishu. You are going in the krur sansar, or the samsara where there is a lot of cruelty, because that's what you have inflicted on other individuals around you. And that is how the evil Atman keeps sinking deeper and deeper into the lower lokas, and just experiencing more pain and suffering, and keep getting more damage to itself and individuals around you. Now compare this evil Atman to another Atman that also wanted to experience things, and so it fragmented away from the Paramatman. And as this fragmented moiety or Atman, this one also wants to create experiences. So this one also had the first incarnation. But this Atman, we will call it the Mahatma, or good Atma. So not a Duratma. The first one, the evil Atman, is a Duratman. And now we are talking about the Mahatman, which is Sadatma, or a good Atman. So this Atman also, both of them, what is the common linchpin? Both of them wanted to have experiences. The Duratma somehow had too much of the ego that it was laden with because it wanted to have more and more experiences and not be grateful for the experience that it already had. Versus the Atman, that is Sadatma or Mahatma, this one also wants experiences, but it is very mindful that this is a game that is going on, and I need to return back to the my daddy or Paramatma and not get entangled in this world deeper and deeper, like my brother Duratma is getting entangled. So this one, when it has an experience, it auto generates a moiety of gratitude. And when it generates gratitude, there is satiation or satiety. So there is less craving for the same. And hence the point of detachment. Whereas the Duratma was getting clinging attachment to the activities it is engaging in, the Sadatma is getting detachment every time it engages in an activity. And hence there is no need to pursue new desires. Whatever curiosity, if there is too much of identity, it will act on it to create an experience, but it will very quickly realize that this is not helping me out. So that is how the Sadatma has a lot of compassion, a lot of kindness, and through the pursuit of the activities that it does, it has generated a sort of detachment to those activities, and hence the amount of activities it is doing is less and less, the amount of karma that is accruing is less and less, the amount of reincarnation needed to burn those karmas is less and less. So you see how the Duratma is having incremental increase in Vikarma, leading to more and more reincarnations in the cruel world, where it is sinking deeper and deeper into the lower species, which are painful species. Suffering is inflicted, whereas the Sadatma is making better bodies, lighter bodies, Sat bodies, or the bodies full of Sat or the Sattvic balance, and hence it has less activity to do. It will keep ascending up the lokas from Bhulok, Bhuarlok, Swarglok, Meherlok, Janlok, Taplok, Satlok. It will keep ascending those pathway unless it reaches Brahmalok. And then it will, of course, transcend all the lokas and become liberated, and then it becomes an avatara. Whereas this other one, Duratma, keeps sinking deeper and deeper because there is a lot of asuric tendency that is accumulated, and because it become more material, it has become extremely stronger, physically, materially stronger, but also having a lot of pain in the mental realm. Because gratitude, compassion, kindness, which is cardinal to Sadatma, is extremely lacking and is shadowed by the extreme lust, anger, and greed, which are coils of Rajas, and making you more and more sticky in what you are doing because of clinging attachments, and hence tamas. So the rocky Rajas is sinking it deeper and deeper into the mud, the sticky mud of tamas, and you're acting more and more aadat se majboor, lachar, and resentful in your Duratman style. Whereas the Sadatman is getting lighter and lighter, making better bodies and going up. So in short, my friends, evil Atman or Duratman is basically the state where the Atman has a lot of identifications. It has intense craving to experience the unfolding Prakriti, and hence when it reincarnates, it is always looking for new experiences, as well as the same time it's not over the existing experiences, and hence it creates a lot of karma, which is vikarma, which is having unfolding misery and suffering on the Atman, and hence the pain and suffering makes the Atman feel that this is not right. Why am I suffering so much? Forgetting that in its pursuit of experiences, it has caused itself pain and suffering to the individuals around it, animals around it. And hence, because of that, you are being returned what you have sowed in the first place. But it doesn't recognize that, because the intelligence there has been totally been shredded by the ego arrogance. And hence, you keep having resentment. That is the state of mind the evil Atman will always have. A lot of resentment, and that leads to keep perpetrating this cycle of vikarmas to sink deeper and deeper, making more bodies which are deformed, dysfunctional, and they will have a lot of pain in the day-to-day living that they're having. But the Sadatman is making better bodies, more elegant, lighter bodies, and it has a mind that is totally seeped into intelligence. And hence, the intelligence, it has dispelled the curiosity, it has dismantled the confusion, and there is no resentment. There is only gratitude. There is only compassion and kindness. And because of this, it will keep levitating, making better bodies, lighter bodies, and eventually attain the state of moksha. Jai Shri Ram.